Welcome back. All right, so that's game one. Montreal and Tampa. It's in the books. It's just the one game. Now, I'm going to say this. It feels like Vegas Montreal game one, doesn't it? And yet, to me, there's the added pressure that this is the defending Stanley Cup champions. This is a team that is capable of running you out of the arena multiple nights in a row. And unlike Vegas, you can't really get in their heads and convince them they can't score goals. With Vegas, you kind of can. You can shut down that top six. It's been done in multiple playoffs. Tampa, I mean, there was 2019 against Columbus, but it's starting to look like that was more of the fluke than any runs they've had outside of that. So, the noisemakers were prominent in the crowd, as were these blue glow sticks they had that were all floppy. I don't know. They looked weird. First chance ends up going to the Bolts. Evans on the fourth line with Armia out of the lineup, as expected. They did have the opportunity to maybe put Armia in there. They decide they leave Evans in there. Caulfield misses one high. Deflected shot keeps Price sharp. And things get kind of scrappy early. Montreal clearly wanting to knock Tampa off their game, and Tampa saying, oh, if you want to play that way, that's fine. Tampa's perfectly comfortable playing the game however you want. So, the Habs were the sharper team in the first 5 minutes, which is not unusual these playoffs for them to be pretty sharp right out of the gate. The shots were 4-3 for the Habs, and the fans were pretty quiet. They really didn't have a whole lot to cheer for until Chernak scores his first of the playoffs from Palat and point at 6:19. And the Bolts, when they score first, they're pretty darn lethal in these playoffs and just in general. If Tampa scores first, it's probably going to be a long night, right? Habs get physical after the goal. The fans, though, are into it. And those hits, Montreal's throwing a lot of them by Anderson, just fires everybody up. This was a game that had a lot of hits tonight. The Bolts transition game was giving the Habs trouble. On top of the Habs defensemen coughing up the puck and their forwards coughing up the puck, putting more pressure on everybody else on the ice to be sharp. So better puck control is needed by Montreal. Probably better shot selection as well going into game two. There's a lot of things they're going to want to work on in between now and when game two starts in a couple of days, when it'll be much cooler and I won't be standing here all sweaty, and it's probably not going to be anywhere near as hot as it is today. Last I checked with the Humidex, the humidity, it's 49 degrees Celsius with the humidity. So that's over. I know on my set it's over 90 degrees Fahrenheit right now. I know it has to be. So, Maroon versus Anderson, they get into a bit of a chirp fest. And I thought that here's the thing. Anderson was playing physical, yes. And I keep hearing announcers going, well, he's playing physical, he's into the game. But they need goals from Josh Anderson. If I'm the opposing coach, I'm fine with him out there throwing hits. I'm fine with him out there being all fired up. As long as he's not going to the net and as long as he's not getting goals, I don't really worry about it. As long as he's not injuring anybody, throw all the hits you want. So, heavy Bolts forecheck. The fans tried to call a penalty. That was a nope. Colton with a tip. That went wide as the Bolts pressed. With 6:31 left, Gallagher draws a crowd at the Bolts net. Habs turnover led to a Bolts chance. That would kind of be a theme tonight. Stretch pass to Kucherov nearly connects. There was a glove save then on Sergachev, and Hedman was denied. It's 1-0. Price is doing his best to make sure it stays that way. And a lot of holding on at this point by Montreal. Habs get a power play. Goudreau disagrees. Cooper disagreed as well. The interesting thing was Luke Richardson had just talked to the referee before that, and then they get a power play, and so Cooper's going, can we get the next one? Ref's like, yeah, sure. So the shorthanded chance for Cirelli, that was a 3-on-2 for Tampa. Heavy pressure by the penalty kill. Toffoli with a near miss. The Bolts would clear it out. They kill off that penalty. No shots against for that penalty kill by Tampa. Palat fires one wide in the last minute, and with 45.4 seconds left, the Habs take a penalty, which puts Tampa on the power play. Kucherov fires one wide, and then he fires the next one wide as well. Dangerous power play for Tampa, which rolls over into the second period. Second period, Habs finish off that kill. No shots allowed on that penalty kill. As dangerous as it looked, it doesn't generate shots. Point fires one wide after it ends, and that's 31 penalty kills in a row for Montreal. That record, that run would end tonight. They'll have to start a new one in the next game. Caulfield had a chance that was saved. Gallagher causing more dislike at the net. That was one of the themes tonight, was Brendan Gallagher trying to throw them off. Corey Perry was doing it as well, but it felt like Gallagher was getting more up in the face of Vasilevsky and willing to engage with the defense. Post then for Sherratt. Price robs Stamkos with the glove. The Bolts would press, and then they open up the lead to 2-0. Yanni Gourde with the goal from Coleman and Gaudreau at 5:47. Coleman originally was given that goal. That was off of a turnover at the Bolts' blue line. Anderson then tries to answer, unable to do so. Evans fires one wide on a fast break. Weber has a break as well. He was denied. Shea Weber, that was one of the best scoring chances they had all night. Stamkos fires one high. Palat then misses one high. A lot of opportunities that just nearly, almost maybe, and so you got to be wondering, is Tampa going to be able to light up Montreal in a way that the other teams they've faced haven't been able to do thus far? This game could end up being the start of it, or it could just be a one-off. Montreal comes out in Game 2 and shuts them down. I have no idea what's going to happen because they've been so unpredictable throughout the playoffs. So the Bolts, it felt like could blow it wide open. Petrie gets stuck on the ice until the Habs cleared it. It took about 2.5 minutes of that shift before Petrie was able to get off the ice. Price then denies Tyler Johnson, and it really felt like the Habs-Vegas Game 1, which ended 4-1 for Vegas, and it looked like Vegas was going to blow the doors off Montreal in that series as well. Shot block hobbles Killorn, went off of his ankle. He went to the bench and shook it off. Price stops another dangerous shot. The Habs were turning it over way too much. That was the storyline tonight. Vasilevsky had been sharp when he was tested, but he was nowhere near as busy, and the shots that he faced were not as difficult as the ones Price was facing. A lot of Bolts players in his face, a lot of traffic, a lot of that continual stuff we kept waiting for Vegas to do and they wouldn't do. Like in the last game for Vegas there, Stone seemed to be getting out of the way of shots by his own players rather than screening the goalie. So Chernak had a shot that tipped onto Price. The save's made. Bolts clogging up the middle of the ice on their own end. They're defending very, very well. Anderson, though, has a shot that's saved. And then it's Sherratt with his first playoff goal from Kotkaniemi and Weber at 17:40. And I mean in his career. That's his first playoff goal. And it went off McDonough in front. So there's some good fortune for Sherratt in that his goal goes off of a Tampa defenseman. But that good feeling ends up being somewhat tainted later on in the game. The Habs press for the tie. Gallagher with a break. He stopped with a minute left, basically right on the 19-minute mark of the period. And then Price saves one on Killorn in the last minute, and he holds on. So we go to the third period. It's just 2-1. You're down one goal on the road, third period in Tampa. That's not too shabby. That's pretty good, right? But Kucherov scores from Sergachev at 2 minutes, and it was on a Caulfield turnover to Sergachev. So Sergachev puck pressure gets the puck, and Kucherov fires it in. But it also went on off Sherratt's stick. So Sherratt, who was very happy to get his first goal, is not happy knowing that one went off of his own stick. That's his own goal, and so that's an ouch, and it kind of offsets that first goal for him, right? Colton then fires one high. The puck goes the other way. Anderson fired one over the net as well. The energy level in this game goes up. We see more chances both ways, although they're not hitting the net. The energy level's up, but nobody's hitting the net. There was only one shot, I think, in the first 7 minutes of this period, and that was the goal by Kucherov. Habs needed to basically pressure and take more chances, and that kind of ends up opening things up a little bit for Tampa, right? Stahl draws a crowd at the Bolts net. We then get 4-on-4 for 2 minutes after that. There was a stretch pass for Anderson. That failed. Punches and cross-checks aren't penalties, so I keep an eye on this because, and again, then Gary Bettman today had the state of the NHL thing before Game 1. He does every year. And he said that they're consistent. They call the game the same the whole year. And I don't know anybody that would watch that and go, oh, yeah, no, the game, it's exactly the same the way you call it in preseason as it is in the Stanley Cup Finals. It's exactly the same. It's not. Because you could see, and that both teams are doing this. This is not Tampa was getting away with, Montreal was getting away with. Both teams are doing this. The punches and cross-checks. Little punches to the back of the head and cross-checks all of them. No, those are fine. I guess as long as you don't hit them in the hand. If you punch somebody on the hand, because the sticks, anything on the hands, right? I don't know. Perry's centering pass doesn't connect as the game reached the halfway mark. Price then stopped a Chernak fast break chance. Clock is an issue at this point. It's 8:38 left, and all I could think was they need to score 2 goals in 8:38 on Vasilevsky. However, right off of that faceoff, in their own end, the Montreal loses. Kucherov scores from point at 11:25. So it did not take long after that faceoff for them to put it in the net. The same problem they had in the Vegas series. Those defensive zone faceoffs that they lose them, and it ends up right in the back of their net. Perry then goes to the net. He's unable to tip one in response. Evans had a shot that was saved. The Bolts clear it out. With 6:18 left, Gallagher's at it again in front of the net. But his helmet comes off in the fracas, and then Sergachev slams him to the ice. He ends up hitting the ice head first. It was awkward. It looked ugly. And then when he sat up, it looked way worse because his blood is leaving his head. And you have to have blood in your head to live. It's one of those things that I learned early on in life. You need blood in your head to live. I don't know why Santa told me that. So, may not have been Santa. So, rest him to the ice. And here's the thing. They gave Coleman a roughing penalty. Coleman barely did anything. Coleman gets a roughing penalty. Sergachev tries to knock the blood out of the head of Gallagher like it's a sacrificial lamb. And we'll give Coleman the penalty. I don't know, maybe Gallagher's blood was falling out from his helmet falling off. His helmet came off pretty fast. That was weird. I mean, and it's the Habs power play, which I was okay with. Although I thought it should have probably been 4. I thought it was going to be 4-on-4, but all right. Let's take one. Sure. So, a solid penalty kill by the Bolts that only allows one shot. So, yeah, their penalty kill was pretty solid tonight. Kotkaniemi then ended up going to the box. It was a retaliation penalty on Chernak. Chernak will take that all night. So, if this is a sign that Kotkaniemi can easily be kind of goaded into it by the defense of Tampa, that could make for a long series. Bolts power play. What ends up happening, too, with this is things get scrappy with 2:40 left. We ended with a 5-on-3 for 31 seconds as basically the Habs. They kept calling it message sending, but I'm like, I don't know. Message being sent is we don't want to lose 3-1, we'll lose 5-1. Kucherov misses wide. He missed wide, I think, a couple of times, and then Stamkos buries it into the end of the net there. That's his 8th to the playoffs, which is a new career high. On the power play from Kucherov and point at 18:50, and that's 5-on-4. So the 5-on-3 was killed, but then the 5-on-4 was not. So the penalty-killing exploits of Montreal have now been halted by the Tampa Bay Lightning. I think it's extenuating circumstances. It's not a consequential goal. It turns it to 5-1 instead of 4-1. So I can understand it having a bit of a lag right there, but still, Tampa Bay's power play is really good. Gallagher was back on the bench, which is remarkable because it looked like all of the blood had fallen out of his head. So I guess they stopped it from falling out, and the rest of his body provided more. Tampa wins this 5-1. Tampa Bay's up 1-0. There's more stitches on the Montreal Canadiens. There's no way that wasn't close without stitches. Might have even needed staples. Shots. They need to get the doctors from the WWE for Montreal, not hockey doctors. They need WWE doctors at this point. So for the whole game, Tampa Bay outshoots them 7-5 in the first, 12-9 in the second, and 7-5 in the third. Final shots 26-19 for Tampa. It was slow at points, but again, it shows Tampa can beat you at whatever game you want to play. Power plays, Montreal goes 0 for 2. Tampa goes 1 for 3. Hits, 58-57 for Montreal. Lots of hits in this game. Block shots, 14-5 for Tampa. Price saves 21 out of 26. Like I said, traffic deflections. Throw him off of his game. That's what they did with Price the whole game. Vasilevsky saved 17 out of 18. He had a pretty easy night. And now they're up 1-0. If Montreal's going to beat Tampa, they're going to have to win 4 of the next 6. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below regarding tonight's game. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.